In this video, we are going to go over factoring ax squared plus bx plus c. Let's look at this in the reverse direction first. If you had 3x plus 5 times 4x plus 2, we're going to FOIL that. So our first term would be 3x times 4x plus our outside term, 3x times 2, plus our inside term, 5 times 4x, and our last term, which is 5 times 2. This simplifies into 12x squared plus 6x plus 20x plus 10. Our b term will still be some kind of m plus n. However, for our c term, it is not going to be m times n necessarily. If you look at this, 6 times 20 is 120, and 12 times 10 is also 120. Our b term is still m plus n, but our c term times a is equal to m times n. So as opposed to our previous video where c was equal to m times n, now c times a is equal to m times n. So remembering this form, let's take a look at an example. We know that our a term is 2, our b term is 11, and our c term is 15. b equals sum m plus n, and a times c, which is 2 times 15, which is 30, is going to be equal to sum m times n. So we're going to look at the factors of 30 that add to be 11. So the factors of 30 would be 1 and 30, 2, 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6. 1 plus 30 is 31. That does not equal 11. 2 plus 15 is 17. 3 plus 10 is 13. 5 plus 6 is 11. So our m and our n are 5 and 6. Now we're going to have 2x squared plus 5x plus 6x plus 15. 5 times 6 is 30, and 2 times 15 is 30. Our next step would be to group and simplify. So if we group the 2x squared and the 5x and the 6x and the 15 together, we can pull out an x from the 2x squared plus 5x. So that's going to leave us with x times 2x plus 5. From the second one, we can pull out a 3. Pulling out a 3 will also leave us with a 2x plus 5, because 3 times 2x is 6x, and 3 times 5 is 15. As you can see, we have similar terms that are multiplied to some number or variable. So we can factor this even further. Now we can do an x plus 3 times 2x plus 5. And that would be the factored form of this polynomial, because we have 2x plus 5 times an x and 2x5 times a 3. So x plus 3 times that 2x plus 5. If we were to say that this polynomial was equal to 0, that means this first term is equal to 0 or the second term is equal to 0. X plus 3 equals 0 or 2x plus 5 equals 0. That means that x equals a negative 3 or 2x equals negative 5. So x would equal negative 5 halves. Our a is 3, our b is negative 10, and our c is negative 8. So we need to find numbers that add to give us negative 10, and numbers that multiply to give us a 3 times negative 8, or a times c, which is negative 24. So let's look at the factors of negative 24. That would be a 1 and a 24, a 2 and a 12, a 3 and an 8, or a 4 and a 6. Since our AC is negative and our B is negative, that means at least one of these factors is going to be negative. So 1 minus 24 or negative 1 plus 24 will not equal a negative 10. 12 minus 2 equals a positive 10. 2 minus 12 equals a negative 10. So our m and our n are 2 and negative 12. Rewriting this, we're going to have 3x squared plus our m, which is 2, so 2x, and our n, which is negative 12, so negative 12x, plus a negative 8. Now let's group and factor this even more, grouping together the first two and the second two terms. From the first two, we will be able to pull out an x. So pulling out an x will leave us with a 3x plus 2. In our second group, we would be able to pull out a negative 4 from both terms. Negative 4 taken out of the negative 12x would leave us with a positive 3x. A negative 4 taken out from a negative 8 would leave us with a positive 2. Again, you're going to see that you have similar terms multiplied to a variable or a number. Since those terms are equal, we can say that that's equal to x minus 4 or plus a negative 4 times 3x plus 2, because we're multiplying this 3x by plus 2 to a negative 4 and the 3x plus 2 to an x. This would be the factored form of our original polynomial. And again, if we were to set the original polynomial to 0, that means that this first term is either 0 or the second term is equal to 0. Before you start factoring this, look at the individual terms. Each of them have a 2 in common, so let's start by pulling out the 2 first. That would leave us with 2 times x squared plus 5x plus 6. And now, as opposed to factoring an ax squared plus bx plus c, we just have to factor an x squared plus bx plus c. So we have to find numbers that multiply to give us 6 and add to give us 5. And we know those to be 2 and 3. So factoring this polynomial, we would have x plus 2 times x plus 3. But remember that that polynomial is multiplied by the 2 that we took out in the beginning. So your answer is just 2 times x plus 2 times x plus 3. And that was a lot easier than trying to find the m and n that multiplied to give you AC and added to give you B. So remember, when factoring, try to simplify the problem first before you begin the factoring process.